Okay, I got two feelings after this. Wow, you guys are smart. And the second one is, wow, I feel old. First, Sarah, when I see your piece, I'm trusting the government money, and why should I trust this money? And then I start thinking about okay, Greece and Argentina, and they're not that trustworthy right now, right? So what do you think? Should you trust the government more, or should you trust open system like Bitcoin more?
I mean, it depends on what you're trying to achieve, right? And it's going to depend from day to day. And that's kind of what's tragic about the whole situation, right? Where you just can't predict right now which currency is going to be okay. I mean, probably the euro and the dollar and the yen are around to stay, and that has to do with how the global financial system is currently set up. But I don't know. I think some people really do believe that in the long run, Bitcoin is going to be more trustworthy. I have a good Argentinian friend who really trusts in Bitcoin for good reasons. He has a background understanding in which, Bitcoin is kind of more trustworthy than its home currency. But it depends. It depends. I don't think that there's anything intrinsic about government-issued currency that makes it somehow more trustworthy than something else.
No. It seems very abstract, but of course all currencies from the beginning were very abstract, I guess. What I think is interesting for a Swedish audience is that I'm not sure that you know that one of our biggest ventures right now in Sweden is KNC Miner, that creates kind of the computers that you are mining Bitcoin on. I'm not even sure I'm saying that right, but
yeah.
Yeah, I am? Okay. And they are some guys from Ericsson that started making those computers, and they're making loads of money. I think their revenue in 1 year was 200 million USD in 1 year before they started. And they just got $100 million to build 4 big computer halls up in north of Sweden. So that for me is very concrete, much more concrete than the Bitcoin actually.
Well, when there's a gold rush, you should be the person who's selling the shovels instead of the one who's
what
digging.
They're doing. So they're saying they're the Cisco of the new financial system. Okay, guys, questions? Maybe smarter ones than I have? No? You thought it was... Yeah, okay, good. Do you have a mic? Please? In here, the beautiful man with the glasses.
For the first speaker, sorry, I forget your name.
Juan.
Juan, you mentioned you studied a lot about negative links in the reputation system. So if you're trying to build an online reputation system for your product or service, how should you deal with those negative links in order to build more trust in your system?
That's the most important question that we discuss every day in the office, and we have different opinions. My opinion is that what we have to create a standardization for is the transactions. So if we standardize the transactions, then the result of the transaction should be whatever the result is. So let's give you an example. Let's say that on a LinkedIn, let's say everyone has LinkedIn here, and all of us have reviews from LinkedIn, right? The problem with LinkedIn is you write a review about someone, and that person has the right to approve or disapprove that review before they publish it. So what that means is you as a writer have zero incentive to say something negative, because if you say something negative, the person you're going to jeopardize the relationship, and the person who received the review is not going to publish it. So there is absolutely no point in putting a review like that. You can only write positive things, and that's one of the problems of LinkedIn reviews. They have no value whatsoever, and they have zero value. However, if you had a better protocol, like I'm going to write a review about you, and you said, okay, accept, pre-publish, that gives me the right to publish, then I will publish whatever I want. And it's going to be published, and it's going to be available. Now, we have a much better protocol for reviews. I'm not going to troll because you accepted that I would be writing the review, so you know who I am. You know that we actually, I mean, I'm not an anonymous person who doesn't know you. I know you. We have been working together for some time. That's why you are pre-approved that review, and then I write the review. The same happens, or the same could happen for almost any review system in the world. You could, let's say, for Airbnb, right? When we agree on a transaction, I'm going to sleep at your home. We are pre-approving that I will be able to write a review and you will be able to write a review about me. And so it's up to you how you behave during that transaction. If you are a good citizen, that's good. If you are a bad citizen, you know that there is going to be a punishment, which will be the review because you pre-approve that publishment. So I think it's about having the right understanding of what is going to happen to create the right incentives for people to be good online citizens. And my opinion in the end is that there should be negative reviews if a negative transaction actually takes place. The most important bit will be, let's make sure that there are no negative reviews for things that didn't happen. Let's say that I just want to write something bad about any of you, just because I feel like. I mean, I should not be able to do that.
And the person that gets the negative, like if I have 20 or 30 positive reviews and then 3 negative, you mentioned that everyone's going to be reading those negative reviews more than they will be the positive ones. So how does someone deal with those 3 negative reviews to keep faith in their reputation?
That's the reason why algorithms will be important, but it will be important to make them really transparent. At the moment, the best way to take a look at those things is by you, with your human eye, taking a look at the 100 transactions and identifying those 3 negative ones, and seeing if those 3 negative ones were actually, casualty, or there was something that happened by mistake, or somebody arrived late and they couldn't find the phone of the other person, whatever, and you may say, okay, well, it was negative, but it didn't really matter. Or if something bad really actually happened, that it affects the real reputation of the person. So algorithms could probably not differentiate so well between the former and the latter, and you could probably, just by looking at the actual review and the text, and also understanding the reply from the other person, we'll see. I think that, as I said, it's an unsolved question.
Okay, I'm going to end with the last question to you, Juan, because you were very humble. You didn't talk about Trady.com at all. It's actually won prizes all over the world, and is backed by Lin Kai-shing, for example, and Bertelsmann. So a lot of money invested in that. Could you just very shortly describe Trady, sure, and if you can join it in some form? And
sure. So we measure people's reputation based on the social media footprint and all those transactions that you do on on all those networks and collaborative consumption networks. And then what we're trying to build is a reputation passport that you can use on any new network. So let's say that you sign up to, camerasharing.com. And camerasharing.com is the first time you use it, so you have 0 reputation there. But if you have all the previous transactions aggregated in one place, which would be Trady, with your reputation passport, then you can prove that you are a good digital citizen that you can prove with previous history. So we're trying to partner with all those collaboration economy companies so that they will use our reputation passport.
Great. So look into Trady.com. Do you apply or sign up, or?
Yeah. People sign up and they enter all the networks where they are.
And how many users do you have so far?
About 4 million people.
Okay. And when does it start to count?
What do you mean, sorry?
I mean, how many users do you need to get that network kind of working?
I believe that it will have more to do with the acceptance of the merchants. So if we get the likes of Uber and Airbnb and eBay starting to use the reputation from Trady, then will become very ubiquitous, and then you will be able to be trusted and then want to increase your reputation at Trady. That's kind of the strategy. Let's see what happens.
Cool. So now you know the business strategy. You said you were engineer on the inside and businessman on the outside, right?
That's right.
Okay, and before we take lunch, what are you guys going to do during lunch?
Oculus Rift.
We're going to check out the Oculus Rift.
Once again, I'm not sure what that is actually. It's some technology going on outside, and Sarah just said, it's the coolest thing since the iPod, and I felt old again. All right, so thank you guys. Last block.